I felt bad. I says, here. I went to the house and I brought him back an Edelbrock carburetor I had. I says, put this on.
Yeah.
I was just like, I had never seen a 4Jet on a race, on a street car for that matter. I was so impressed it ran that good.
Wow.
But,
did they change it right then and there?
No. He
Okay.
he kept breaking a bunch of pieces. Luckily, I had a bunch of small block Chevy pieces at the house, like water necks, things like that. I didn't catch his name, but real nice group of people.
Cool.
Yeah, it was pretty neat. So
there was a lot of new cars that.
Yeah.
I mean, I had to ask. When the announcer has to ask who's that, they haven't been to your track much, or they're new, right?
Yeah.
We had a lot of new cars show up. We had a lot of really really nice cars show up, and man, there were some fast cars that unloaded. Darren Koffel, for one, went to Willamette, shook the car down, loaded up, headed to Grove, and won the dash. Now, watching him practice that new XR1, those who saw Koffel are going to say, and I'm going to be one of them, he's going to be one of the guys you deal with week in and week out because his car looked fantastic. Again, the forward bite, I don't think it was quite on the level of that X Factor, but again, different track conditions. But Darren's car looked really, really good for the first practice of the year. The other person that really impressed me, now I'm talking late models, that really impressed me, and I'll tell you why, was Hot Sauce Tomas Hunsker. Here's a guy last year just had a lot of bad luck. The guy can wheel a race car. Had a lot of bad luck. Got out, and I'm sitting in the tower by myself looking down. This is about a half hour before I left. Looking down on the tower, on the track from the tower, and I'm watching Darren and Hunsker out there together. And Hunsker was about half a straightaway behind Darren. And they would go down the backstretch, and Darren would turn the car, throw the car. Just back that thing in and get it to turn and stand on it, and the car would just launch forward. Fantastic. And I would watch Hunsker come in, and Hunsker would dive to the bottom. The car would hit the ruts. It'd start bouncing. It would get really tight. It'd push up to the top. He'd have to lift the throttle and turn it. I'm thinking, come on, get off the bottom. You can't be there. It's not working for your car. And he followed Darren for about 3 or 4 laps, saw what Darren was doing, started following him through that middle groove. And I'm not kidding you guys, within 2.5, 3 laps, he ran up on Darren so fast. And these guys are working it. They're on the throttle. It was race-type conditions. And he ran up on Darren, and I'm in the tower going, wait a second. It looks like Tomas Hunsker is holding some cards this year. He looked incredible coming out of the turns.
On point, huh?
He really did. There was
nice.
He had to, and if he didn't leave Willamette happy with a smile on his face, thinking, great shakedown, way to start the season, I would be really surprised because that car was, it was looking good.
Nice.
Jason Nelson in the 51N. Another, we know Jason's fast. He looked pretty good in the mod. Sandy Sanders using it as a shakedown, brand new car. Good thing he did. That's what that's for. That first practice is for that right there. Making sure every nut and bolt is tight, making sure the bugs are worked out. And Doug Elkins, Super Sport last year. Remember the OG car? Now wearing number 46. Man, I highly impressed with Elkins in practice at Willamettte Speedway. He bought a very, very familiar car. Ended up buying the 74 from Dival, the Super Sport car that won 10 features.
Wow.
And we know Dan was very fast in that car. So was Jordan Wright, who won 2 features in it. And so was Brian Smith won a feature in it, right? And there was 3 guys that won features in that car last year. Elkins bought the car. And throughout the course of the season, we continuously, week in and week out, watched Elkins progress. His driving at the end of the season, he was one of the guys that had, it was challenging for a win. In that car for the first practice of the year at Willamette, these guys better have their A game on. I don't want to hear about it.
I'm going to stay at the back.
I'm telling you right now,
stuff to get used to here.
For the Super Sport drivers that listen to this show, that race at Willamettte Speedway, you guys better show up to the first race of the year, whether that's on the 14th or the 21st or whenever Mother Nature decides we're going to race. You better have your A game on, because I'm telling you right now, Doug Elkins does. That car was fantastic. He was getting that thing into the turns, on the throttle. The car would rotate and come off. Just wicked. Those guys, don't start with that Ford stuff with me, Buzz. Don't start with that Ford stuff. Ford or not, the car was awesome. I mean, it truly was. It was just one of those deals where I'm watching that going, wow, these guys are in for some trouble this year with that dude. He was fast last year at the end of the season. He really was. You were out there for the second half. I was out there by the first half of practice, Dom. I left right before you got there.
They said we just crossed paths.
Yeah.
But I guess
what did you see while you were out there?
Well, like I say, I seen the Camaro. White House was out there practicing. I seen that sprint car make a couple laps. Otherwise, I was trying to help them out in the pits, just trying to get everything squared away because the sun was getting ready to go down. And, I wanted to see people get their practice in, so I just did whatever I could. And, but quite honestly, by the time I got there, people were loading up, getting ready to go. So, yeah, I didn't get to see a lot of action, just a lot of excitement, which was good. It was good to see the excitement. And like I say, I was sitting there by turn 3 and starting to watch the sun go down and a car go by, and it was just like it was yesterday.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah, I liked it.
Isn't that cool?
Yeah.
I know when I got out there, I was kind of like, you get out there and you get in the dust and the smell of the fuel, and it's kind of like, all right, we're back. This is what we live for.
Yeah. Then it got all rainy.
Everybody's in the studio smiling, shaking their heads. Yeah, that's right. That's what it's all about.
Well, on top of it, though, I just got back from Jordan's house all pumped up, so it was quite exciting for me. But, no, good week. Good week.
Yeah, now, this is what sucks about all that. You get out to the track, it's sunny, their cars are out there, and you feel on the ground and the throttle and the smell and the fuel, and you're pumped. And then you look at the 15-day forecast.
Yeah, it's raining and cold again. It's like...
yeah, they're saying, from now until the first race, 5 inches of rain here in the Pacific Northwest.
That was the other thing I had to do Saturday, was cut my grass because it was out of control. So that took up some time, but at least I got that in.
How long did that take you?
Really about an hour, but I get to tell the story that I fired up the mower for the first time, and it hydrolocked and blew the rod out the side of the block. So
my God, I know you can blow a lawnmower up.
So then I had to go run to Pop's house, get a new lawnmower. It turned out to be quite a fiasco just to mow my lawn. But
see, if you would have taken it to practice, that wouldn't have happened.
Yeah, the lawnmower. But, got that in. I don't want to be the guy known on Airport Road across from the track with the jungle in the front yard either. So,
yeah, that was that's a shame you blew your lawnmower up.
Yeah, it happened.
Didn't even get to qualify.
No. No, I got through one little patch, and that thing just went boing. I couldn't believe that rod through the side there so far. I push it. Push it.
He does. Dom, he'll get every ounce of performance out of that lawnmower. Runs a 110 fuel in that Briggs. And
I got a little velocity stack on it. And,
I love it.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Lightweight blade.
You got that's rotating weight.
That's right.
That's rotating weight. You got to limit that. Gosh, can you believe it's almost been an hour on the air?
Wow.
I know. It's crazy, huh? I really want to get into the victory visit. I want to talk about that and what that means to the Shriners Hospital, what it means for the Northwest racing community. And, that's kind of why Jordan's here tonight, because your story, it just all worked out to have you on the show tonight with everything that's gone on this week. When I heard that you were coming to the victory visit, I thought, man, perfect. But if anybody deserves to be here, and I say that because I really wanted you there, just given the history, and we're going to talk about that. It's you.
Yeah, I missed out on it last year. I saw it too late, and then
right.
wasn't able to make it, but...
It's definitely you to be there. You've got a lot of experience in that hospital. Before we get into the victory visit, I want to talk about why you're here. Give us your history, give us your story, and what makes it so unique.
Well, with Shriners, I've spent a lot of time up there. When I was 18, I had bone cancer. Went to Dornbecker and Shriners. I had all my surgery and prosthetics for my leg done. Had what they call a rotation plasty. You can go Google it; you'll figure out what it is.
Well, we saw that on the video in the PowerPoint.
Yeah, they actually did have a video for it in the PowerPoint. And that's why I went to Shriners, because the cutoff's usually 18, but you get an overage exception when you're 18 for that, because he's the only doctor that does it, the only surgeon that does it. But anyways, so yeah, spent a lot of time up there doing all my treatment for bone cancer and my prosthetics and inpatient therapy. And
let's talk about that, because your bone cancer ultimately cost you part of your right leg.
Mm-hmm.
Now, is it the knee down?
Yeah, it's from the knee down. Well, yeah, the rotation plasty. They use the foot and ankle to replace my knee joint. This is actually my foot here inside the prosthetic. But Shriner's the only place that can do that surgery. You got a really confused look on your face.
No. I'm just going back to what we saw where they were building the prosthetics and the technology they use. They're second to none. I mean, in the face of the planet.
Yeah.
This place is incredible.
Yeah, and actually, since I've left there, I've had trouble finding a place that can make a prosthetic that fits as well as they did.
Sure.
Actually, after you guys left, because I missed it, I went back and talked to the prosthetist there, and but yeah, they probably could have told you a lot more about it while we were in there.
Well, I wish they would have, but we were actually up against some time, given that was scheduled that day. But I watched a really interesting conversation between you and a lady that was helping guide our tour when we were visiting the kids. There was a limited amount of people that actually went into the rooms with the kids, and Jordan, you were one of them.
Mm-hmm.
Being in those rooms, I kind of watched you. And I know it brought back a lot of memories. Walking through the hallways, Jordan was looking around, and he says, man, when I was going through here, they were remodeling this place.
Mm-hmm.
Was it a lot different now compared to when you were there?
Well, you actually, come in and out on opposite ends now.
Okay.
And, the rooms and stuff, kind of down where we were where the inpatient was, that actually used to be the parking garage at one point. I think that's about where it is.
Well, you did say the whole place was turned around.
Yeah, and so everything's updated and new and stuff, and they were in the middle of doing that while I was there. That's what we're talking about, is in the middle of being there.
The lady we were talking to, what was her name?
Oh.
The what? Emily. The lady that was kind of giving our tour, where the kids were. Because I know that this was really funny, guys. Because Jordan's in there, and we're talking to the kids, and they're signing autographs and hats and pictures and stuff. And I had mentioned to this lady, well, Jordan, who races cars, was a patient here. And she starts talking, and when the light went on, she goes, oh, wait, I remember you. She says, and you got to give us a story on this. She goes, I remember you because aren't you the one that rebuilt your own leg?
Yeah.
And he goes, yeah, that was me. What happened?
Well, it happens regularly. So, one, we live quite a ways away, but I'm also a mechanic, and so, I always, the bearings and stuff, I'm like, it's just a bearing. I don't need to drive all the way to Portland to do this. Just send the bearings with me. I can put them in myself. It's fine.
Right.
Well, at one point we had, I broke part of it, and we had to weld it back together.
He's welding on his leg.
And so we had welded. It's one of the braces that goes up the side. We had welded it back together, and we brought it into Sabrina, and she's like, "Well, what happened there?" I said, "Well, it broke, and so I couldn't really do anything else. I didn't have an extra at the time, and so we welded it back together." And she wasn't real upset. She goes, "No, it's fine." And everyone else is like, "He torched this thing apart." And but she said, "Oh no, she's happy because she knows I'm getting my use out of it, and that kind of stuff happens."
That's awesome. That's awesome. So
they're actually happy to see the ones that come back beat up because they know they're getting used.
Yeah.
They can tell when they come back and they're just pristine, clean. Not as much with the legs. Sometimes with the arms and stuff, they'll have them come back and they're just pristine, clean, and they know they're not using them.
Right. You're using yours. We talked about this. I mean, this guy's racing cars with a prosthetic leg. That's his throttle leg. I mean, it's like,
that was what Casey was getting.
Yeah, Casey and I were kind of looking at you while you were telling us about it and talking about, well, how do you feel the throttle? And Jordan says, well, I just feel the car. And Casey says, are you using a tow cup? Are you, and Jordan says, yeah. He goes, I just put the when you set your car up, you put the throttle clear over by the firewall so you can rest your leg up against it and keep your foot, helps you keep your foot on the pedal.
And if bouncing through a rut, I lose it, I just slide it down the firewall until I hear it go. And
because you can't feel that at all. I mean, then your butt.
Well, it'd be like taking a wooden dowel and taping it to your foot and trying to push on the.
Right.
I mean, so you can sort of feel it, but not like you can your normal. I mean. Yeah.
Buzz says it's supposed to be clear on the floor anyway.
Well, I know. You just kind of set it in there, and it holds itself there.
So you were how old when this happened, and how? Okay, so on your right leg, is it below your knee